welcome to the Best Band I Ever Played With podcast. This is a show about people who play live music, not people who are famous for doing it, and not always people who do it as their main job, but people who will play week in, week out in pubs, in small venues, occasionally in people's basements. They'll do it wherever they can to whoever will listen, and normally for a very small amount of money and some warm cans of Red Stripe if they're lucky. Normally that would be me, but as I record, the COVID-19 pandemic has cancelled sort of everything, including my gigs. So I thought it would be good to take a little break and chat to people who have been playing live music for a while and see what they've learned. The guest for this episode is best known as the singer of the band Honeyglaze, who are a three-piece from London, who, despite not being together for very long, have been gaining new fans all over the place. One of them being the singer-songwriter Kate Davis, who liked them so much that they were offered a fairly sweet gig to be her backing band for a now cancelled European summer tour. In this conversation, we talk about what it's been like to go from being a smaller part of another band to being the focus of your own. We talk about the pitfalls involved in playing the live sets over Instagram Live that popped up during lockdown, and who the best band that she ever played with was. More from me at the end, but until then, enjoy this conversation with Anouska Sokolow. The way that I've started these so far has been just asking like when the last time you played a gig was. And the idea has been, it's like, it's not been for ages because of the pandemic, but you played a gig last week,
Yeah,
right?
I played a gig, when was it? Last Thursday? So really not that long ago. But that was the first time we'd played in 7 months. And we actually realised the other day that we were not a band longer than we were a band because of lockdown, if that makes sense. So we were separated for 7 months and we were only a band for like 5 months before lockdown, which is pretty crazy. But yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. I hadn't realised that. So what was that like though? Because I mean, it was a socially distanced sit-down gig at the George Tavern.
Yeah.
So how did that work out? How many people got in there?
It was actually really nice. I think it was like 35, 40, which was more than we thought it would be. Like when I was talking to Fran about organising like the first gig back at the George, we were like, fuck, it's going to be like 10 people. We were going to have to sit like 2 meters apart, like spread out across the whole room. But no, it was actually done really well. I was really chuffed. It was such a nice night. It was very like cozy. I quite enjoyed. I feel like our band works pretty well as a sit down kind of thing, whereas like if you're a kind of mosh headbanging type band, I can imagine sit down gigs aren't perfect for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I've seen you sitting down whilst I think I've watched you whilst I was sitting down.
Yeah, probably.
It was good. I enjoyed it. But you also had, like, when it first hit with the lockdown, that's when you first started seeing like what seemed like an endless string of people doing live sets on Instagram.
Yeah, God, I'm glad that's kind of over.
Yeah. So you did. How many did you end up doing? Was it just the one? Or?
No, I did. I feel like I did 2. Yeah, I did 2. I think I did 2. I did one for Hard of Hearing and I did one for Sad Club Records. They're both pretty much the same setup. I just like never realised how hard it is to be like a vlogger. That was like what I was thinking about mainly.
Yeah.
Because like talking to a camera, like it's awkward enough on stage when you've got an audience in front of you and you have to be like, hey, We're like just really awkward, and then instead you're just doing it in a room on your own to your phone. I hated it, really. It wasn't good. I mean, it's like the best you could do, you know. Lots of people are like a lot more inventive than I was, but you know.
What was the best one of those that you saw, do you reckon?
I can't really remember many of them. What was the best one? I feel like, actually, you know, the FarmFest thing that happened, that was done, I think that was really done well, because it was live, but also it was in a really like condensed time. It was just like 3 days, there were always bands on, and then you could watch them back, rather than, you know, like one a day, like once a week at 7 and no one's really watching. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was... I enjoyed that. I was watching back through your set today from FarmFest, which I thought was pretty nice. Tim was doing the jokes, cracking out the humour.
Yeah, we did 2 takes of that. So the first one we did the whole set, but we hadn't planned anything between, so it was just silence, and it was horrible, and we had to stop halfway through, and we were like, we can't do this. It's just us playing songs and then looking around and being like, next song? So it's just, we were like, we have to do something weird, even if it's really awkward, because it's better than nothing.
Yeah, no, I remember feeling something similar even when it was just like an actual gig and there were people there. But I remember in the first couple of gigs that I played with Rays, Aaron and Sam would have like fairly complicated, lengthy, like guitar tuning and guitar switching bits, and it would just be like me standing with my bass, and like, and also didn't help that a lot of those gigs there'd be like 7 people there. So just like me and like and 7 other people.
Like 4 of the people right at the front, so like, you're right, how's it going? I remember doing the same thing with Tugboat, but I kind of never really had to talk during Tugboat, which was like good for me because I'm really bad at stage banter, whereas Socks is really good at it, just like spewing whatever to fill the awkward silences.
Yeah, I think it's a skill. I think that I started to sort of enjoy it, but then I realised, like the last time I played a gig with Rays, that Aaron and Sam had gotten quite quick. Our set had just now didn't actually have like these really long gaps, and just sort of realised that I was now just talking, but they were just standing there awkwardly.
Just swap round, they were just waiting for you.
Yeah, I don't think they really liked it by the end, so I stopped.
I think I just get so self-conscious. It like what I think is that I'd rather not say anything than say something and have like a terrible reaction, you know, just like trying to be funny and then everyone's just silently staring at you, and then you have to play a song. Like that's my worst nightmare.
I remember we played a gig in Hull, and like in the first little gap, we'd eaten at this all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet in town earlier called Wings, and I just like leaned into the mic and I'm like, oh yeah, we just had a good meal at Wings, big up Wings, all-you-can-eat buffet. And then this guy in like the most northern accent possible just went, fuck off.
Oh god. Yeah, I've never been heckled, really. That's something I'm looking forward to. My first heckling.
I feel like unless you ended up with a particularly badly booked gig,
that
shouldn't happen, right?
Yeah, that's true.
When was the first time like you performed songs that you had written, would you say?
Probably with Tugboat, really. I don't really have any recollection of, maybe like at some like school concert or something I was like forced to do some, I don't know, some sort of thing. But yeah, probably just Tugboat, doing like the songs I'd write for them. But yeah, that seems to be the earliest I can think of like singing and writing my own music. But even then, I don't know, when I like did it with Tugboat, it didn't really feel like my thing. I guess because it was like a collective Tugboat version.
You did Ball 44, and then Little Life and Artificially off the next one, which everyone seems to think I'm a rain cloud. You know, pretty good tunes, I thought at the time, and still think.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
they're pretty. I'm quite happy with those. I mean, I feel like songs you write when you're 16 you usually find quite cringy now, but you know, I think they're quite, not to blow my own trumpet, quite enjoy those songs. Yeah, I think I was just quite like shy with Tugboat, so I guess, I mean, I only put like 3 songs that I wrote with them, so it's like maybe I was just scrupulous with what I was giving them. I had to be like really happy with them, you know.
Because I guess that allowed you then to gradually ease yourself into the point at which you are now, getting the chance to play regularly in a band on stage, and you did that a lot. Like,
yeah,
in your time with Tugboat Captain, like, you seriously hit the road for a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, it's kind of weird when I think about it. Like, I did 3 tours with Tugboat from when I was like, I think the first one I must have been when I was 18, and like the first couple of gigs I did I was 17, which is really young when I think about it, like now. But yeah, I feel like I wasn't really thinking about it at the time. It's just like something that was going on, and now when I look back, I'm just like, oh my god, I've been on like a tour. It didn't really feel like a big deal at the time, but yeah.
What would you say that you learned from that experience?
Don't play in Torquay. No, I don't know. I guess it was a good time. It was really fun. I mean, I'm just like, creds to Socks for like booking the whole thing. Like that, maybe that's what I've learned from it. Just to like, don't organise it yourself, because it's a bloody lot of hard work to organise a full tour, like a 2-week tour. Oh my god.
Realization that you wanted to start out doing something based off of your own work, with you very much front and centre?
Yeah, I think when I left Tugboat, I was really like, I don't want to do music for like a really long time. I think I was just really like, I just started art school, so I was like, I really want to just do art. I don't want to think about doing music, it's too much stress. And then, yeah, I feel like it was like about a year after I left, I was like I was going to gigs, a lot of gigs, and like meeting a lot of people who were like playing, and I was like, actually, fuck, like I haven't even thought about doing this kind of thing, and like it looks so much fun, like yeah. And then when was it? It was just like Brad knew I like had written music and stuff, but wasn't doing anything, and they were playing a gig, his band. He was like, oh, do you want to support? And I was like, fuck, like, it was like in a week. and I had to like figure out what I was going to do. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it, but what am I going to do? Do it solo, like ask Tugboat, like yeah, it's just lucky I just asked him and Yuri and that was like it. Just stuck.
Yeah, so Honeyglaze, as it currently stands, is yourself, Yuri and Tim.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that comes to mind is that Tim and Yuri are both really good musicians, aren't they?
Yeah. I was like, I have a week to prepare. I need someone who's going to be able to, like, firstly want to, like, be into music enough to just be like, fuck it, yeah, I'll play a gig next week and learn, like, a whole set. And obviously I knew Yuri played drums, but I'd never seen him play. I've only seen him play bass in Living Island. And I knew he'd play drums, and I was like, do you want to do it? Like, you don't really seem to play drums much. Maybe that'll be fun for you. He was like, yeah, like, that'll be good. And then, obviously, I knew, like, Tim had helped me do stuff before. And I was like, do you want to do it? Yeah, they're just, like, they're so in tune with everything. It just makes it so much easier to, you know, we did 2 practices before that gig, and, you know, it felt pretty tight for a band that had, like, never played a gig before.
I think I first saw you play at a gig at the Windmill.
Mm. It might have been the first one. Was it the first one?
It might have been, yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was. Like, there was a very coherent sound to it, and I think it also, just aesthetically speaking, 3 pieces are always very nice to look at.
I think it's just funny that, like, we never even planned to have a second gig. Honeyglaze, as it is, was just a one-off. Like, we were going to do that one gig. It was for fun, and that, you know, that would be it. We were just, you know, lucky, I guess, that it worked.
But it's interesting to hear you say that you only did, like, 2 practices before that, because it felt like you had been doing that for a lot longer than just 2 practice sessions.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess me and Tim had done stuff before, like, he'd heard a lot of the songs before. Yuri was literally, like, thrown in the deep end. I was just like, go and play drums, and he was like, okay. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's difficult to think about, like, back then, what it was like.
What's that switch been like from being the person who's sort of in the corner of the stage holding an accordion and occasionally shaking a shaker? What's the switch been like from doing that to being the main person?
I guess it's pretty nice, really. I don't want to, like, you know, shit on Tugboat, because I had a great time, but, like, I was never, like, doing what I wanted to do. That I had very little musical input in most of it, which is fine. Like, I wasn't trying to at the time, but, you know, it's a lot more, like, fulfilling. You know, people see what I make rather than what I'm kind of in the background of, which is a nice feeling. Yeah.
Was that a feeling that you knew that you wanted to feel more of beforehand, or is that something that you've like sort of felt grow as you've gone?
Yeah, I guess it's just like with each, like, good gig, I enjoy it that bit more. You know, it's just like the more, I don't know how to phrase it. But it's just like, it's like a little reward. It's just like that dopamine hit every time you finish a gig and you're really happy with it. And it's like, yeah, that was really good. That's what I wanted. It just makes you want to do it more, I guess. It's like addictive.
What was the gig that you've done so far is there a gig that you've done so far which you can pinpoint and go like, that's the best that it's felt so far?
I don't know. I was thinking about this earlier, and I feel like there are gigs which I'm like, that was a really fun night that we played, and then there's like, musically that was the best one. Like usually it's not like hand in hand. Musically, I'm not sure. Maybe like our Kate Davis gig was that was like musically the one I was probably happiest with. But I think that was just like because of the general atmosphere of like a Bird on the Wire gig. It's like everyone's there and everyone's really quiet, everyone's really attentive. It's not like a windmill gig where you have like old men at the back chatting and like most of the people aren't there to see you. I think that was just like the most where I felt the most appreciated. Just like between every song it's like completely silent, everyone's like really wanting to hear the next one, or like it feels like everyone really wants to hear the next song.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to feel appreciated. What has been quite nice is that every time that I've seen a crowdfunder go up for a venue, people have been quite willing to go and contribute.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is, it's nice to know that. Really, because I mean, yeah, we don't really know like what the landscape's going to be when we can do it again properly.
Yeah.
I already know of like at least 3 bands that like various people I know are in, which have either split up or have had people like acrimoniously leave. Really? In the same way that I know about 3 couples who looked fairly solid in like February who have broken up during lockdown. So I don't know. Could be quite who knows? Who knows who's going to be doing what and where?
It is very like you have to adapt. I was going to say quickly, but I mean not quickly because there's so much spare time. But yeah, I feel like it's just like adapting to what's happening as much as you can. Yeah.
I feel like you guys should be able to adapt.
Yeah, that. I hope so. It's just
partly
a shame.
There's only 3 of you.
Yeah. But like it's just like the whole thing, you know, just like gigging around releases and stuff. I think that was like what we were most bummed out about, because we haven't released any music. We have one song on Spotify that's from 2018, and we're sitting on an EP, and we're like, well, what do we do? Do we just release it with nothing, like just online, or do we try and like organise some gigs with like 30 people? Is it even worth it? Or do we like hold up? Do we wait and see if we can like do a tour that, like, you know, we could be waiting like years at this point?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really crazy dilemma. That
do we join TikTok and become a TikTok band? That's what I want to know. Release
the songs in 15-second increments.
Maybe I'll just start only writing 15-second songs.
I mean, your songs aren't that long.
Yeah, I wouldn't really
anyway.
have to. I just cut one verse and it'd be good.
Yeah. I think you could do it.
Maybe I should rethink.
So, Anouska Sokolow,
Hey.
you've played a bunch of gigs with the band Tugboat Captain. You've played a bunch of gigs with your own band, Honeyglaze. Who is the best band, or not band, that you've ever played with?
Oh, okay. In terms of like just being good and having a good time, just generally having a good time, it's going to be Lynks Africa, or formerly Lynks Africa. I think it's called Lynks. I think they're called Lynks now, just Lynks.
Yeah,
Recently.
the Africa has been dropped.
Yeah. I think it was one of our, maybe like our second or third gig. I think it was really small. There weren't many people there. But, you know, such a good performer. Elliot is such a good performer. Like, always has so much energy. Just a really nice guy as well. Just, yeah, I'm going to say Lynks Africa. Lynks.
Yeah, I mean, Lynks is fucking amazing. I remember finding out that was Elliot Brett.
Yeah.
And just because I don't know Elliot, but I've seen him. I saw him play before, like as just Elliot Brett.
Yeah, I remember. I think I made a poster when a long time ago with Tugboat, when he played as just Elliot Brett. But it's getting huge now. Lynks is getting huge.
It's getting numbers,
really
man.
Big.
I'm seeing people who like aren't from round here post about Lynks. I'm like, oh, damn it! It's now in at least 2 of my echo chambers. But yeah, I just remember thinking, it's like, no, that's not the same person.
It is very like, I always love how straight after his gig he'll get changed back into just like a shirt and jeans and like remove all the drag makeup and stuff, and like you would never think like these two people are like the same, which is really cool. I like that he has a very like outgoing, not that he's not outgoing, but like, you know, it's very different stage persona.
Yeah, I mean it's a very well cultivated act, isn't it? Like, I love it. I think like the lyrics are so sharp.
It's just so funny. It's just so
really,
funny. The
really
dancing
funny.
is amazing. The beats are great. It's just I can't fault it really. There's nothing I can say that's bad. It's such good outfits. Like, oh, just love it.
Like some of the beats on those tracks are so hard. Like, respect.
I think as a live show, it's just, I mean, I've listened to a couple of the Spotify tracks, but just there's so much like personality, and like it's just such a fun time. I've seen them quite a few times, I think, in different places, but it's always very good.
I really enjoyed I tell you, like, that was someone who did well during lockdown, I thought.
Yeah.
In terms of the online stuff.
That's
and
true.
That was that was pretty entertaining.
I think because it's just more than like someone playing a guitar, you know. It's a lot more visual.
There's like a world that's been being built up, which is really impressive.
Heavenstamp. Were you there for Heavenstamp?
I don't think I was.
Windmill?
I don't think I was. I had to. I looked up Heavenstamp, but you go ahead and describe Heavenstamp.
So Heavenstamp are a 2-piece from Japan. So I think it is just guitar and a kick drum, or some sort of drum that the guy plays, and then there's a female singer. And when I saw them, I think there must have been about 4 of us in the room after one of our gigs at the Windmill, and I've never seen anyone go for their set so passionately to like 4 people. Like, there must have been 4 or 5 max. Yeah, it was just amazing. It was just bizarre as well. Yeah, I think I spoke to Tim, who booked the gig afterwards, and he was like, I think they were planning to play someone else, but it fell through, and they asked him really last minute, and he was just like, yeah, fuck it, like, just put them on, like, having no idea what they were like. Yeah, great pop Japanese tunes.
There's some great shit coming out of Japan, and shout out to Japan.
Shout out to Japan.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation there with Anouska Sokolow of Honeyglaze. If you want to check out more of Honeyglaze, and I certainly hope you do, links are all in the description. It is worth mentioning that as I currently speak, and that is October 2020, their recorded output is not particularly representative of what Honeyglaze currently sound like. If you want a better idea of that, watch their FarmFest set, link also in the description. They sound great. Some of those songs are absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to hear them out properly. This podcast is recorded by me, Billy Pratt. I also did all the music in it. The cover art's by Isaac Gray. If you liked it, why don't you give it a like? Maybe a comment, say what you liked about it. Hey, why don't you pass it on to a friend as well? Share the love. But, no pressure, you don't have to do any of that. So, until next time, have a lovely day.